Okay, yes. So we'll get started in five, four, three, two, one. So I'm a teacher, so I know that works. So inshallah, today we're going to continue or maybe even finish up our discussion about learning the Arabic language. Um, I want to go through a few tips on how Arabic is learned. Um, if you look here on the map, uh, we have a map of the Arabic speaking world here. Um, every place where Arabic is spoken, more or less as a native tongue. Um, I remember some weeks ago we discussed, what type of Arabic one should learn. And what did I say? Does anyone remember? Okay. All of it is Arabic. And inshallah, it'll all help you understand the Quran. So I didn't say that. So I said there is lots of registers of the language. There's Fusha or classical Arabic, which is probably the hardest for anyone to grasp. So if you want to make it there, then you take baby steps towards that. And there's other registers that might come in handy. Like we said, there's modern standard Arabic, which is also referred to as Fusha, but is really the language of sort of modern day educated people. And then there's colloquial Arabic, and then there's sort of the educated tongue, which is somewhere between colloquial and modern standard.
Brothers, can we keep it down? Can we keep it down?
We have a lot of young people here
Can
today,
we keep
which
it
is
down?
good.
Have some respect for the class.
So I want to go a little bit more systematically through how someone might study the Arabic language. And if you recall, last week I went over a few things, but I have it sort of listed out here. So I said you want to start off with mastering the Arabic alphabet, both the sounds and the letters. The sounds and the letters. Okay? So linguistically speaking, there's no relationship between the written characters and the sounds that they make. However, we know that if we're learning a language, we want to be conversant with the script, as well as being able to recognize the sounds of the language when we hear it. So this is related to reading and writing, which we'll talk about momentarily. So every letter has a name, and it also has a sound. So we know like Aleph, it makes what sound? Okay, so it's the long vowel right? Same with the letter, I don't know, Kaf. It makes the K sound. So just knowing that the differences between the sounds and the names of the letters. Also, one thing that is key to people who are non-native speakers of Arabic, particularly when we're coming from English, is differentiating between long vowels and short vowels. So knowing the difference between a fatha, a, and alif, long a, right? And also the alif mad a, if you're doing tajweed. So because that makes a difference on the meaning, okay? So if we say bad in English, bad and bad, it doesn't make a difference, right? But in Arabic, it does. Okay. And then going over the different types of alifs. We don't have to get into all the details, but just knowing the difference between alif maqsura, alif qasira, and the various alifs that you might see in print. Hamza. Okay. Wa ma adraka ma Hamza. Okay. So I remember someone telling me they had an Arab friend who had the choice between majoring in rocket science or writing about the Hamza. And he chose rocket science because it was easier. And of course, the ta marbuta, which usually designates the feminine in Arabic, and the shadda is another aspect of the Arabic language that's not present in English. Um, so just knowing all of those things, and also knowing about the letters, how they're written, what shapes are consistent, because there's only a couple of different shapes that you find in Arabic, and knowing how to connect them, or using them in isolation versus how they look at the beginning of the word, the middle of the word, the end of the word, um, and which letters don't connect as well. And then, of course, learning the script, learning how to do handwriting. Okay, so we have on this slide, of course, the Arabic alphabet, and I would pay attention to some key letters that you don't find in English. For instance, like the hat, knowing the difference between the hat and the hat. Okay, the kha, of course, all these أصوات الطبقية, صاد, ضاد, طا, ظا, عين, غين, قاف, okay? And even in a lot of the dialects, there's certain letters that will inevitably change. So, for instance, in various dialects, the dal gets changed either to a dal or sometimes to a za, Where is it? Oh, yeah, yes, it's right here. Same thing with the qaf. Almost no dialect pronounces the qaf correctly. They either make it a kaf, or they make it a gaf, or they don't pronounce it at all, as they do in Egypt and the Shami region. Or sometimes they're selective with where they pronounce the qaf, right? So no one ever says al-a'ira. No one says for the word Cairo, al-a'ira. They say al-qahira for some strange reason. Okay? So there's just certain letters that we should focus on. And also, along with that, we should learn the numbers. So we know the Arabic numerals, right? We're very familiar with the Arabic numerals. Yeah. These are the Hindi numerals that are often used in the Arabic language. And just a very brief side note, does anyone know why the letters are written, the numbers are written, the Arabic numerals are written the way they are? Just a very quick side note. Oh, that's it. Okay. So we have 1, we have 2, we have 3, we have 4. Yes. Okay. I won't go to all of them. So there's actually a reason why they take the shape that they do here. And it's because each of them correspond with the number of angles that you find in them. So 1 has 1 angle, 2 has 2 angles, 3 has 3 angles, and so on. So these are our algorithms. This is a side note. And also something that we should learn towards the beginning is hisab al-jummal. So hisab al-jummal is kind of like knowing the letters, knowing the first of all, the order, the original order. That's not the original order, but it's the order that they use numerically in Arabic. So each letter is not only represent a sound, but it also represents a number. And sorry. Oops, sorry. What was the question? Oh, because each of them have angles that equal the number that they correspond with. Yes, that's why 1 is written like, well, it was originally written like this, with these angles. Yes, sir. So, hisab al-jummal, It's used even to this day, although I guess a lot of people kind of make it, something a little bit esoteric, where you can do numerology with things that are written. Even some of the ancient poetry, like Al-Mutanabbi, he used to use, these coded. He used to use the abjad, what they call it, the abjad, to code numerals in. And if you also know anything about dating and things like that, sometimes they would say, I don't know, like the year of Hut or something like that, to denote the date that they're writing. In fact, there's this interesting book called "Using Numbers in Arabic." It's by a scholar by the name of Jamal Ali, who I actually met in Cairo, and he autographed the book for me. Um, I think he's American, but he's of Iraqi background. And this is a very useful book about numbers, because numbers are even, difficult for Arabs when they use Arabic. And so I think one of the disputes that they have, like when it comes to should we be teaching Amiya, the colloquial Arabic versus Fusha, they say tell any Arab to do math in pure Fusha, and they cannot do it. They have to resort to just using their colloquial understanding of numbers. And it's the same way with us. Even if we learn the language, if we learn the language in our adulthood, it's very difficult for us to do things like math in that language. And so we have to kind of convert it back and then translate it.
Yeah, before you proceed, can you show me what is that?
The Hamza.
Five, the English,
Uh,
the
so the Hamza is a very controversial letter, because some people say that it doesn't really exist. Other people say no, it necessarily exists. And we even use the Hamza in English, but we don't have a symbol for it, right? So if I want to say the word 8, how am I pushing this A sound out? It's using the Hamza. Or if we have a word like uh-oh, we have a Hamza in the middle, right? So
yeah. Okay. What's the association with Adam?
oh, so in Hisab al-Jumal, I mean, it's just kind of usually written like this. There's no Hamza in Hisab al-Jumal because it's an archaic thing before they actually came up with the Hamza. It's just whenever you type out the Aleph, there's always a Hamza on top. So I told you the Hamza is very difficult. And also people use it for ordering. So if you're like writing a list or something like that, you would use Hisab al-Jumal. And what I have posted here is just the two. There's the Western style and there's the Eastern style. They're slightly different in their ordering and their numbering. Yeah, you have,
No, it's
okay.
not. This is not my field.
Okay.
Ziya has a question.
Yes, sir. This? Oh, yes. Yes. Oh, so there's a Western form and there's an Eastern form. So in terms of how the letters are ordered, it's Aleph, Ba, Jim, Dal, Ha, Waw, Zai. This is just the easy way of memorizing it. That's why they have it looking like words. I don't know if they're actually words but it's just an easy way for people to memorize it. The differences are here. You see Sin, Ain, Fa, Sod versus Sa, Ain, Fa, Bod. And Farasht versus Farast. And down here as well. So there's just slight difference between what they use in the East, like in Iraq and, and so on, versus how they, used to write it in Andalus and Morocco and places like that. Okay, and some very useful resources for learning the alphabet. Things are like Al-Qaeda Nuraniya, Al-Baghdadiya. These are systems that a lot of places around the world they use to teach tajweed, and it really diminishes the accent, your native accent. So in places like Indonesia and Senegal, they might use the qaida nuraniya to teach letters. So you can find this on the internet. You can just go to YouTube, find nuraniya, and there'll be lots of lessons there for you. Al-Baghdadiyya is something similar. It's similar for teaching tajweed. Also, if you wanted to really improve your lettering, your pronunciation, take a tajweed class or read tajweed manuals, learn alphabet songs like I mentioned last time, and Arabic calligraphy. Arabic calligraphy is really good for improving your handwriting in the Arabic language. There's a precise way of doing it, so maybe taking a class if someone knew how to do it. So, Brother Najeeb's favorite topic, verbs. We talked about this last time. So conjugations and patterns. We talked about memorizing them from the very beginning. Here are some charts. It looks intimidating, but it's really not that difficult. So memorizing the verb conjugations, very early on, just to the point where it's like second nature. Like in the military, when they teach Arabic and other languages, they just write out a paragraph using all the different pronouns and the conjugations. And so you can they kind of reads like a story, and so you can really kind of follow it and memorize it very easily. And it makes memorizing your conjugations, like second nature. And I talked about last week memorizing the verb forms. I know this sounds a little bit overwhelming, but once you find the patterns, pretty much all the Arabic verbs are going to follow one of these patterns. So it's going to be easy if you just memorize how they sound, like fa'ala, fa'ala, yaf'ala, fa'ala, maf'ul, and so on. You'll recognize these patterns, and it's actually Arabic rhymes. Arabic naturally rhymes. So just memorizing these at the very beginning, it makes Arabic a lot easier in the long run. Also, learning how to use a dictionary. So there's many types of Arabic dictionaries. We have the Hamza, we have Lane's Lexicon, we have Oxford, we even have the visual dictionary. We have apps. We have all sorts of tools nowadays, okay? So using an Arabic dictionary, whether it's Arabic English or Arabic is very crucial. Maybe once you get to the point where you can recognize more vocabulary in Arabic, using an Arabic dictionary will actually come in very handy. And then exercising your 4 skills. I'm not sure this doesn't show up, but 4 skills plus 1. What are the 4 skills?
I think this.
So we have 4 skills in Arabic, plus 1. I think we're doing the plus 1 now, actually.
Yeah.
We have, what's this? We have listening, reading, writing, and speaking, plus culture. And it's all this lecture we've been emphasizing what? We've been emphasizing, along with studying Arabic, we should have a cultural enrichment so you can know what you're getting yourself into, right? That's been the whole point of these lectures, is to say that we're learning Arabic, but we're also learning about the history of the language. We're learning about the impact of the language. We're learning about the relevance of Arabic to the empowerment of the community, right? We are learning about how Arabic could help us transform religious literacy, Islamic literacy, how it could give us access to knowledge, Arabic as a vehicle of knowledge, not limited to religious knowledge, but knowledge in general, because this is much a recap, as we have spoken about concerning how Arabic was the knowledge of the world for 1,000 years, and how there's a large amount of information in the Arabic language. And we also talked about this the culture. I'm commenting on the culture aspect, and we also speaking about how it's directly relevant to our history. And do you want to?
Yeah, yeah.
I don't want to just cut you off. That's why.
No problem. But I got the. So, in terms of learning Arabic, I mean, we have the four major skills that any good language learner, and this is actually according to most of linguists in any language. You learn how to speak, you learn how to listen, you learn how to read, you learn how to write. So two are productive, and others are sort of what do you call it? What's that?
Passive.
Passive, or like you're intaking the information. So you should actually listen and read more than you speak and you write. Okay. Starting off with listening, that's a skill. That's one skill. Reading is another skill. Being able to do those, that's usually what people teach when they're teaching Arabic, right? And then we sort of expect that someone will be able to speak and write after they've done these other skills. Not necessarily true, but it's just part of the learning process. But we also have culture, sort of the hidden skill, is being able to know when to use the language. And I think this is a very important thing to focus on, because oftentimes, like I guess we're just starting off, we're talking about the various registers of the Arabic language. So when do you use Fusha, classical Arabic, versus when do you use colloquial Arabic? So an Arabic speaker, someone who really knows the Arabic language, they're living in an Arab society, they use all of these registers, sort of naturally. We do the same, right? Right? Like if I'm giving a speech in front of the president and important people, I'm not using my local slang, right? I'm cleaning up my language, right? So people know how to use language in its various forms. This is a cultural aspect of language. And then there's some other beginner Arabic materials that I just sort of listed here. You can't see them very well, I guess, here. But we have something like children's books. So children's books that are written in Fusha, they're often, they have the vowel markings, and, they use clear language, but it's usually simple, so you can actually follow it. So things like comic books, Juha stories. My sons are familiar with Juha. Nasruddin Juha is kind of a trope throughout the Middle East. Also stories of the prophets. There's many other things that you can find in written form. Like I mentioned before, Sira, watching cartoons, or if you're advanced enough, watching dramas and serials. There's a lot of stuff, usually produced in Egypt, but nowadays, Qatar and the UAE, they're kind of catching up. So they have stories about the Sahaba, stories about scholars and other famous figures. Mutun, Brother Najeeb's favorite thing, right? Poetry. So there's poetry that's simple enough for some of us beginners to read. So there's a lot of things that you can find in the Arabic language. It's not like back in the day where you really had to scrounge for things. Nowadays, a lot of materials you can just find free and openly on the web. It's on YouTube. It's on various websites. So a lot of the tools are really at your fingertips. Just a matter of knowing how to use those tools. And then this is kind of the not the very last slide, but sort of, I guess, a broader picture. So I can't see this very well. So there's various levels of Arabic according to ACTFL, which was it the American Foundation, something or other. So there's this professional organization that standardizes language here in the United States. They say these are the various levels that you can have in any language. So you can have a novice level of proficiency, intermediate level, advanced level, superior level, or distinguished level. Um, this doesn't just go for learners of a language. It goes for native speakers as well. And so if you visit the ACTFul website, I guess I can write that down. ACTFul is acronym. Where did I write? ACT. So ACTFL. If you Google that site, you'll find if you can specify for Arabic, for the Arabic language. In fact, do I have it pulled up here? Let's see. I think I have it pulled up. Okay. Yeah, so there's proficiency guidelines for the Arabic language. So yeah, we have superior, distinguished is at the very top. So this means that you can speak fluently. You can speak on a lot of abstract concepts. You can use specialized terminology in a particular field. This is a distinguished level, and it kind of goes down here from there. So, you have the superior level. Most people actually kind of plateau at the advanced level. So if you're sticking with Arabic for quite some time, you can speak, you can understand, you can do a few things in the Arabic language. This is sort of the level that people sort of plateau at for a long time. I feel personally like I've been at the advanced level for several years, and it's very difficult to break away to the superior level and the distinguished level. Who knows? I might have gotten there. I don't know. Allahu A'lam. Inshallah. So tajweed, you could be at a distinguished level in tajweed if you really wanted to. So if your whole focus is to recite the Quran, right? You'll probably start off with the basics, right? Just learning the letters and things like that, the sounds. But then as you progress, you'll learn specialized terminology. So you'll learn the terminology that's associated with tajweed. You'll be able to, even talk about it maybe in Arabic, right? And so you can go in any subject from a novice level to a distinguished level. So not everyone who is maybe an expert, for instance, at tajweed can also talk about rocket science, right? It's a different discipline. And so going through these levels with whatever you're doing, is this website gives you some really concrete things. So for instance, if you're trying to measure your writing, you can go to this website and see what levels of writing constitute, novice level, intermediate level, and all the way to a superior and distinguished level. Same with speaking, listening, and reading. So just going back to this chart, where is it? Yes. Sorry. So going back to this chart, here are my suggestions when it comes to learning. So programs, courses, study groups, and language partners. Okay? When should you do a whole program of study versus when you should just take a few courses versus when you should study in groups, small groups maybe, and when do you need a language partner like a one-on-one teacher, or not necessarily a teacher, but just someone to ask questions. So I would say at the novice level, you really want to start off with a language partner because you need that one-on-one assistance. And so there's this method. I think I was asked a question last week about the methodologies, learning,
Grammar as opposed to
yeah,
learning conversation.
yeah, learning grammar versus, learning some other way. So there's something called the crashing method. Um, and interestingly enough, I saw, somebody try to implement this crashing method on YouTube. And he just happened to learn Egyptian Arabic. Okay, so he started from zero. He was a true beginner, and he just focused on speaking. He just exercised his speaking skill. So he started off with the language partner, and he just sort of, started asking questions. And the idea behind the crashing method is like it's called I plus one. So it's like input, so something that you already know, and you just add something to it. So if you know how to ask the question, ma hada, what is this? Then, you know, you can ask a lot of questions, right? You can say, ma hada, ma hada. So you can just start off like that. And then as you add more, you can say, I don't know, just for على سبيل المثال, هذا كتاب أصفر. هذا كتاب أخضر. And so on. So you start learning various things, through the language. And this guy, he went from zero to, he was okay, I think by the end of the year. He went through a whole year just learning Arabic like that. And he tested his proficiency by taking a trip to Egypt, talking with cab drivers, talking with people on the streets. And he was actually able to do it, with some level of proficiency. So, and he did it with the language partner. He just started off with an Egyptian teacher or Egyptian person. He didn't call it a teacher. He didn't call this person a teacher, called him a language partner. Just someone to ask questions, bounce ideas off of, just in case you need it. And then also at the novice level, you can also, join study groups, other people who are learning the language. And I feel like when I was in Sudan, I was at the African University. A lot of us, were more or less novices at the language. But I think that camaraderie, and the fact that there was no language between us, we were just speaking in Arabic, we're able to, share and build on each other's knowledge. And then when you get to the intermediate level, study groups, and maybe you can take a course, okay? Don't overwhelm yourself with the whole program. Just take maybe a course, at the Masjid or, at the community college or whatever it may be. And then once you get more advanced, this is probably where you'll need all of this. You'll need, that's if you want to, pursue something a little bit more specialized. So enrolling in a full program of Arabic language that gets you studying different disciplines and so on, joining study groups, language, having a language partner and so on. And then once you're at the superior level, you can move past that. Maybe you're still taking courses and programs, study groups, but you don't necessarily need a language partner because you're able to talk with a lot of various people and then to distinguish.
I have a question for you.
Uh-oh.
So my question for Maurice is, at what level do you think is proficient to start studying Islamic sciences through the medium of the Arabic language? Novice.
So you can do that now if you wanted to. So yes, sir. Okay. Okay.
Some more over here.
Okay.
Classes that they be able to attend.
Mashallah. Mashallah. Okay.
Okay.
Different things.
Okay.
Maybe they can.
Yeah. So thanks. Mashallah.
Inshallah.
So that's the first part. At what level could they engage, start studying Islamic studies by reading Arabic text? My second question is, when do you suggest that a student should go overseas? Should they go overseas as a novice, an intermediate? And what can we do here? How much can we actually do here?
Okay, so we can get here, we can get to the distinguished level here in the United States if we really, really wanted to. But if someone wants to accelerate their learning, for instance, then I would say maybe between the intermediate and advanced level, you should go overseas. Um, Not the novice level. If you don't know Aleph Batat, or if that's all you know, try to bring that up a little bit before you step overseas. The thing about studying overseas is that it's very stressful. It can be stressful in a lot of ways. First, you're not home. You're in a different society. That is if you are not from the the Arab world. If you don't have an Arab background, so if you're not an Arab, if you have no connection there, then it's going to take you a while to adjust. And there's a lot of things that you need to do, like finding a place, learning the terrain and stuff like that you have to do before you actually step foot in the classroom. So learning Arabic in the Arab-speaking world is more of a task. Of course, it costs a lot more money than staying here. Go ahead.
I'm happy you mentioned that because I guess people have different opinions about this. I'm of the opinion that I did that. I went overseas and my brother Ziad helped me with everything. I couldn't speak Arabic. He did everything. Got my apartment. Mashallah. But I was literally handicapped. I couldn't do anything. Like, I remember one time a guy was supposed to come to my house for like the water heater, and I had every time I had to get something done, like somebody had to come and install something in my home, I just gave him Ziad number. I didn't even give him my number. And Ziad called me like, "Oh, they on their way." Think about this. Like, do you want to be in this situation? This is the point, and it's very stressful. Going overseas, not knowing Arabic at all, is stressful. Some people like it. I didn't like the experience, and I did it like that. And I'm telling you, if I had an opportunity to do it again and I had resources, I would have never went over there like that, ever. You put yourself, you're too vulnerable. I was in Cairo. So my opinion is, like he said, I honestly believe now with the resources we have, we could get to an advanced level in Arabic right here. I believe it 100%.
I've seen it happen, actually.
Right. And we know people who've done it, but
I have students who have done it.
yes. Yes. And even when it comes to Islamic studies, I'm of the opinion that we should not send students overseas unless they study up until an intermediate level in Arabic text. If you haven't done that, don't even ask me about going overseas. Yeah, you can't come with nothing. Them days are over. And we have enough resources here to do it. And so I agree with him with the level that you should go overseas. And I made a promise to myself, like, I'm not going back overseas so I complete intermediate text across the board. So hence I'm still here now. So is he ready? All right, we're going to break for the van, but I want to harp on this point really fast. All right, they said I have a minute or two, so I'll use it. So, so I think that, yes, this is why we're doing is getting serious about learning Arabic language. And anyone who's been overseas, and I'll talk about this with my friends, you see, us as Western students, we the ones that go over there knowing Aleph Batat. And then you see students from other countries, they already know Arabic. They already know fiqh, they already know Quran, and you go over there, you so behind, you got to go to the Arabic center and go to level 1 with the children. It's like maybe at one point in time, yes, but now we should not send students. I'm against the action. It's not even I'm impartial. I'm firmly against it because you waste a lot of time, 1. 2, you're not going to be able to benefit from the ulama in terms of learning. You need about 2-3 years to start to really wake up. And then what happened to me so much, the things that I studied in the Arab world, like when I was learning in Arabic, I come back home and I realized I have to restudy it because so much was going over my head. So for me, I'm more of I'm an opinion of a gradual immersion in Arabic. Some people like teaching Arabic from day one. I think that's Maurice's opinion. Teaching in Arabic from day one, that's not my opinion. Personally, yes, I believe. Okay. Bismillah, taqatallah. Bismillah. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمد رسول الله. أشهد أن محمد رسول الله. حي على الصلاة. حي على الصلاة. حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر، الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله. So we got 15 minutes. So 10? You said 15. The muezzin. All right. So as I was saying, that I'm not a bigger fan of Arabic immersion. Some people are. I'm not a fan. I think why I say that. I think for me, this is my personal opinion. And actually, they Sheikh Yazid right here, young Yazid and Isa used to be in my Arabic class. When I was living in Chester, I was teaching at the school. They have a school which I want them to like say a word about and kind of promote it, some opportunity for it. But Yazid was my Arabic student and Isa. And what we did, we didn't do a lot of speaking, but we focused on reading. Because I feel like if you could read, it's going to facilitate you speaking. In my personal opinion. Especially because we want to read Arabic Matun. And why do I say that? Because if you could read a text in Arabic, even if you can't speak well, maybe your speaking is so-so. Say if you want to study something like fiqh. The thing is, the listening skill takes a while to fully develop. To the point where you can follow advanced conversations, advanced technical language. So my theory is this. Not a theory, but this is my preferred method. Say if I get my students reading to an intermediate level, meaning they could read books at an intermediate level, they could understand the vocabulary, they could understand the grammar. Now, I say, okay, let's read a book of Islamic law in Arabic, but you're going to read it. Because the books is still in the book. The knowledge it's codified in the books. You need a teacher, but you still have to be able to read the resources. And we are Muslims and we want to learn Islam. So my preferred method really is to focus on reading at the beginning. Some grammar, but reading. Because I feel like when the students could see that they could actually read Islamic texts and it gives them motivation. So what my plan was with them before I came back here was really to get them reading to a good level and then reading different selections of Islamic literature in Arabic and just explain it in English. Let them read it and explain it in English. And then when you go to a higher level, you explain half of it in Arabic and half of it in English. When you go to a higher level, you could do 80% Arabic, 20% English, until you get to a level where everything is taught in Arabic. This way you preserve their understanding and you make sure they understand exactly. Why I say that? Because if you study issues like fiqh, Islamic law, and you explain in Arabic, that's not a subject that you want them to come away with a misunderstanding. Especially if you know they listening level haven't developed to a level that is needed to really be able to follow the conversations concerning that subject. But if they could read it and understand it, because reading and listening is two different skills. If they could read the text in Arabic, you explain in English, right? But they still reading in Arabic, so they still have to know the vocabulary. They still have to be able to understand. And then from there, you gradually start to explain things in Arabic, unless the only exception I would make if you just have a separate class for conversation. You can have one full class for conversation and then separate and have a purely reading class. But I think it's important to do these things. For me personally, people may disagree, but everyone has an opinion. So, and then, yes.
Public speaking.
Public speaking. And that's a different, I mean, how many people could in front of people? And then I will put this in the Arabic class where you may make them practice conversations, make them give presentations in Arabic. Like I had to do this and things like this. But I think, this is my personal opinion again, I don't put great emphasis on speaking at the beginning. I want to make sure they could read, because literacy. And you could gradually develop speaking. And more than likely, we in America, we're not going to speak Arabic every day. I'm just being practical about it. But you're going to read the Quran every day. You're going to, inshallah, pray every day. So I think you have to go with what is immediately practical for you when teaching Arabic. That's me. And one more thing I wanted to mention. This is going to take some time, actually. So let me see. Maybe Maurice have something else to say. And then maybe, Zia, you want to say something about your school? No, but just to give awareness, and maybe you could look. He won't say it because I'll say some things though. Look, because this is implement on the ground. So I started. These was my two Arabic students, right? And when we started, they could read and write. They knew the alphabet and stuff like that. But when I started teaching Yazid and Isa, we started off reading. So we would read a story. I would break down the vocabulary. Then I would make them read it. Right? And then I started teaching them verb conjugations. To the point within 3 months, Yazid? 4 months? How far did we get? How far did we get in reading? Were you reading stories and understanding them? 4 months. 4 months. They were reading stories in Arabic, understanding stories. Yeah. Right? And look, I was teaching them first twice a week. That's it. Only twice a week. This wasn't even every day. And what did I do? We would read stories. Read them. I explain it. And I make everyone read. We're having reading groups. And then before you know it, they surprised me. They were able to conjugate. They knew most of all the verb conjugations. And it would help them in their fiqh classes they were taking. Because they get used to Arabic. So now, if they finish the reading course, they could read a fiqh, a text in Arabic. Yes. Yeah.
Are you going to extend the Arabic class?
Yeah, we're going to actually start learning Arabic after Ramadan.
After Ramadan.
Yeah, because
It's going to be more than one day. We
Yeah, if
only
I
do
could
it here
find
on the
committed
Friday.
students, yes. No, I mean, but you know, we're gonna see. We're
I
gonna learn.
mean, yeah, you want to keep your students interested.
So,
Yeah.
that actually brings me to this QR code and this link here. So, in order for us to maybe keep in contact with you and maybe follow up with you, you can access this very brief form. It's a bit of a survey too, but if you open this up or use this tiny URL, which is 3A5FDMXX, all lowercase. Um, so you can leave your email and your contact number, and inshallah, we'll follow up with you after Ramadan. And there's a few questions that I'm actually interested in knowing about you all as well. You don't have to answer them, of course, but if you want to keep in touch with about the Arabic class, then please fill out this. Yes, sir.
I mean, yeah.
Should we do it next week? It's
I'm
probably
not,
too close to comfort to Ramadan.
yeah. It's so cool. But listen, let me give you an outline for the Arabic class that we want to do. So the Arabic class that we want to do, as we spoke, we're gonna have a WhatsApp group for people in the class. A WhatsApp group. So we want to constantly be. So when you leave the class, we don't want you to abandon Arabic. So we're gonna have a WhatsApp group where we text in Arabic, we get to practice speaking, right? Because we want it to be a social thing. We're gonna have an Arabic circle where once a week people come together and have an opportunity to practice Arabic. This is outside the class. So this is going to be very serious. This is why I'm saying is that my goal really within the span, we have 3 months, your goals after 3 months, your goals after 6 months. And eventually I want us to be able to read like basic Arabic text, right? And it can be done. You just have to do the homework and we have to practice. But I, well, no, I don't know about that. But we have a real organized plan. So we want like committed students. We want serious students. We're going to have conditions that commitment, kind of um, commitment. We want to make sure you're committed, and yeah. So that's that for that. We can do it. Listen. We're going to do it. Just when we do it, we want to make sure people come because we're going to do it. That's the thing. We want to make sure people come, and before we stop the program, we're not going to be here next week, so we're going to start after Ramadan. Okay, we're going to start an Arabic class. So
So just fill out this form. We'll follow up with you. We'll have your email and your phone number, inshallah, and we'll follow up, inshallah. So, right.
okay,
Ramadan
and
Kareem.
thank you for coming, guys. And I'll see you after Ramadan. During Ramadan, of course, but in terms of the Arabic, we're gonna start, inshallah. Yes, and thank you very much. And all the viewers. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
بسم الله توكلت على الله. الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح. قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.
استقيموا. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. فلا أقسم بما تبصرون وما لا تبصرون إنه لقول رسول كريم وما هو بقول شاعر قليلا ما تؤمنون ولا بقول كاهن قليلا ما تذكرون تنزيل من رب العالمين ولو تقول علينا بعض الأقاويل لأخذنا منه باليمين ثم لقطعنا منه الوتين فما منكم من أحد عنه حاجزين وإنه لتذكرة للمتقين وإنا لنعلم أن منكم مكذبين وإنه لحسرة على الكافرين وإنه لحق اليقين فسبح باسم ربك العظيم. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. فلا أقسم برب المشارق والمغارب إنا لقادرون على أن نبدل خيرا منهم وما نحن بمسبوقين فذرهم يخوضوا ويلعبوا حتى يلاقوا يومهم الذي يوعدون يوم يخرجون من الأجداث سراعا كأنهم إلى نصب يوفضون خاشعة أبصارهم ترهقهم ذلة ذلك اليوم الذي كانوا يوعدون الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.